When you think about Earth or maybe even zero-gravity backflips, but have you ever stopped to wonder, what do astronauts actually eat up there? Sure, space is about exploring the final frontier, but let's face it, it's also about figuring out how to chow down while floating in a tin can millions of miles away from the nearest drive-thru. Welcome to the world of space food, where every meal has to survive the perils of microgravity, extreme temperatures, and, well, astronaut taste buds. Let's blast off by rewinding to the early days of space food. Back in the 1960s, NASA's Mercury astronauts had it rough. Their meals were essentially glorified toothpaste, pureed mush squeezed out of a right? It was functional, but far from fabulous. Imagine eating baby food for every meal, but without the satisfaction of seeing a baby make a funny face. By the time of the Apollo missions, space food had taken a small step for snacks. Fried foods entered the picture. Astronauts just added water and voila, beef stew or scrambled eggs. Kinda. It was like camping food, but for people who couldn't even roast marshmallows because, fire and oxygen don't mix in a spaceship. Fast forward to today, and astronauts are practically foodies compared to their 1960s counterparts. Space agencies like NASA and private companies like SpaceX experience for astronauts. And thank goodness, because who wants to go to Mars if all you get is rehydrated green beans? Modern space food is a mix of science, creativity, and sheer determination. NASA's menu now boasts over 200 food items, including international cuisines like Japanese ramen, Indian curries, and even shrimp cocktail, a surprising astronaut favorite. Why shrimp cocktail? It turns out that microgravity dulls your sense of taste, and the spicy kick of horseradish in the cocktail sauce cuts through the blandness like a rocket through the atmosphere. Now let's talk about SpaceX. Elon Musk's company is famous for making rockets reusable, but did you know they're also shaking things up in the space food department? SpaceX missions have included luxury items like fresh fruits, baked goods, and even espressos. Yes, astronauts can now sip on a shot of caffeine while staring at the infinite void of space. Talk about living the dream. In 2021, SpaceX's Inspiration 4 mission, the first all-civilian trip to orbit, even included cold pizza. Sure, it's not exactly gourmet, but hey, who doesn't love a slice of cold pizza? Even at 17,000 hosting zero-gravity, no refrigerator on the International Space Station. Food has to be shelf-stable for months or even years. That means no fresh steaks, no ice cream, unless it's freeze-dried, and certainly no avocado toast. Then there's the issue of crumbs. In space, crumbs aren't just annoying, they're a safety hazard. A rogue breadcrumb can float into equipment, clog an air filter, or worst-case scenario, end up in someone's eye. That's why tortillas are a staple in space. They're flat, they're versatile, and they don't crumble. Who isn't just about making it taste good, it's about making it nutritious. It's about making it nutritious and functional. Astronauts need a balanced diet to stay healthy in space, where their bones weaken, their muscles shrink, and their immune systems can go haywire. Scientists work tirelessly to pack meals with the right mix of proteins, carbs, fats, vitamins, and minerals. And then there's hydration. Since liquids behave weirdly in microgravity, drinks are stored in sealed pouches and sit through straws. Fun fact, astronauts' coffee comes in freeze-dried packets that mix with hot water. So while you're complaining about your barista spelling your name wrong, remember that astronauts are drinking coffee out of a bag. Here's where things get really futuristic. To prepare for long-duration missions like Mars, scientists are experimenting with growing food in space. The ISS has already hosted several space gardens, where astronauts have grown lettuce, radishes, and even zinnias. Talk about farm to table. Space farming isn't just about fresh food, it's also about sustainability. Plants can recycle carbon dioxide into oxygen, making life support systems more efficient. Plus, tending to plants, who wouldn't feel a little calmer after watching a zero-gravity garden? If fresh veggies aren't enough to get you excited, how about lab-grown meat? Companies like Aleph Farms are working on producing cultured meat in space. In 2019, they successfully grew beef in the ISS using 3D bioprinting technology. The goal? To provide astronauts with a juicy burger that didn't come from a cow. It's like sci-fi meets barbecue. Lab-grown meat could solve several problems, from reducing the need for food storage to minimizing the environmental impact of space travel. Plus, it opens the door to culinary creativity. Who knows, the first Mars colony might have a Michelin-starred restaurant serving 3D printed steak. Let's not forget the emotional side of eating. Space can be a lonely, stressful place, and food is one of the few comforts astronauts have. That's why agencies work hard to include familiar, comforting meals on the menu. Whether it's mac and cheese, chicken soup, or chocolate pudding, these foods provide a little taste of home when you're far, far away. Even holiday meals get the space treatment. Astronauts on the ISS stabilized turkey, candied yams, and stuffing. It's not exactly grandma's cooking, but it's the thought that counts. You might be wondering, what does all this mean for Earthlings? Well, the innovations in space food often trickle down to our grocery stores. Freeze-dried fruits, ready-to-eat meals, and even some packaged snacks owe their existence to space research. And as companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin make space tourism a reality, you might one day find yourself munching on space-approved snacks during your own trip to orbit. Speaking of space tourism, Jeff Bezos has Blue Origin macaroni and cheese. Meanwhile, Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic served up a menu inspired by top chefs. Because if you're paying millions for a ticket to space, you'd better get a decent meal out of it. So what's next for space food? Scientists are exploring everything from algae-based protein shakes to insect-based snacks. Yes, you heard that right, but be on the menu. Before you cringe, remember that insects are high in protein, easy to farm, and already a staple in many cuisines around the world. If it's good enough for astronauts, maybe it's time we give it a try too. There's also the potential for personalized nutrition. Imagine a 3D printer that customizes your meal based on your body's needs. Feeling low on energy? Here's a protein bar tailored to your exact metabolic requirements. It's like having a personal chef, but way cooler. As humanity prepares to venture deeper into space, food will continue to play a crucial role. It's not just about survival, it's about thriving, even in the harshest environments. From freeze-dried shrimp cocktail to live-grown burgers, space food is a testament to human ingenuity and our insatiable appetite for exploration. So your situation, literally. Because while we're enjoying meals here on Earth, astronauts are floating above us, proving that where there's a will to eat, there's a way. And who knows, maybe one day we'll all be dining under the stars in the most literal sense.